G'day traders. As you know, I've just selected a few of you just from the mentoring group, just to take you through, what I do every single day as far as creating a blog for myself. Now, this is not something that I do, specifically for anyone else to see. It's not like it's a professional thing at this stage that I want to implement. It's purely just something that I do on a daily basis to create habits, to confirm my system in my head. And what I do is I basically speak like I am speaking to other people. I always say, "G'day traders." You go through it, like I'm talking and outlining exactly what I've done for the day to other people. But essentially, up until now, it's just been something I've done purely for myself. I've saved them all. Occasionally, I'll go over certain areas. It's a good reference if I'm looking at a certain trade or something like that. I can go back through the day, and I start off by going over the daily chart. I then bring up some, maybe some 60-minute or 50-minute charts if they're relevant, and then go through the 5-minute chart. And then, as you'll see from this explanation soon, I then go to the 1-minute chart in certain areas to get my actual entry. What I want to do here is just take a quick 5 minutes to explain a little bit about my system. I'm not going to go into a heap of detail. I might do a more detailed video later on, but that will take some time and effort and a lot of planning. For now, I just want to get you something quickly that you can go through, see in 5 to 10 minutes, and then at least understand what I'm talking about in these daily blogs, which I'll make available to you guys for the next couple of weeks. The thing about these daily blogs too, we mentioned it in these sessions we do, it's not necessarily that I'm going to provide you with these brand new ideas for you guys and to take it and use yourself. If you want to, you're more than welcome. I'm more than happy for that sort of thing to happen. But where I think the value of this is you'll see some of the detail, some of the things I do, some of the approaches I take, and hopefully it'll just trigger certain things with you, or certain areas that you might feel that you might have to develop a little bit more, or certainly create some ideas. But it's not like it's that you take this exactly and run with it. It's just to set a bit of an example and see how I approach the day, and from there I hope that you go on and get some inspiration or some ideas from that. As far as what I'm doing, to give you an explanation of my system here, I utilize a top-down approach. Okay, so the very first thing I do is I'm looking for some key levels or some price action. Okay, so I consider myself a trader where I try to keep things as simple as possible. Yes, I have some indicators on there to look at general areas, but what you'll see soon is I get the general areas from the 5-minute chart, but I go to the 1-minute chart and look for specific price action patterns before I enter a trade. Okay, so to get these key levels or these price action prices, what I do is, first of all, I look at key levels on the daily chart, and they're represented on, and I'll place them all on these 5-minute charts so you can see these levels, but they're represented on the daily chart with solid blue lines across the entire day. I then look at, most of my key levels actually come from a 60-minute chart, and I put most of the relevance on them, and that's a dotted blue line across the entire day's action. Then, if there's some significant areas on the 15-minute chart, and I don't tend to use this too much because 15-minute time frame is getting a bit small and it can get a bit sloppy, a bit noisy, they call it. But if there is some key levels that maybe I haven't picked up on the 60-minute chart that's going to be relevant to today, I'll place them on there too, and that's also a line across the entire day, but it's a dotted yellow line. And then also what I do is use a 1-minute chart. And you'll see for some trades, I'm not looking for necessarily a key level that's across the entire day or week or month. I'm just looking for a specific price right in this immediate 20-30 minute period that the market's reacting to, and that's going to be my specific entry. So with certain blueprints, I don't just want to say, get in here or get in there. I want to base it on the actual price which is happening. So what I call immediate price action, I'll base that on the 1-minute chart, and that's a partial dotted yellow line, and I'll show you what those particular areas, and you'll see them on the 5-minute chart in a second. So all these areas are on the 5-minute chart, so just so when you come up and you see them, you know what I'm talking about, and I base a lot of things on these key levels at different ways. Okay, so my actual approach, let me just slide down a little bit here. My actual approach then, I go to the 5-minute and the 1-minute chart. So I've set everything up. I've used some longer term charts. I'm always using 15-minute charts step back daily charts and 60-minute charts for key levels. Also 15-minute chart a little bit, but I'm more using 15-minute charts for that sort of overall sentiment or direction of the market, especially if I'm looking to go for more bigger trades, which I don't do that often. I use the 15-minute chart to decide that, and I go, okay, if there's a real breakout of pressure or there's a real chance of going to the next level here and there's an opportunity to go for more, that's where I'll base it. It's not something where I just go, this looks like it's going for more. And as you'll see, everything's got to be as systematic as possible. It's something I'm working on myself. I'm just looking to get something that's just black and white, systematic. There can be discretional parts in there, it can be automatic. It's up to you, but just have something that at the end of the day you're just very confident. And when you take a trade, I heard a great quote, something about saying that it's really got to be about the model. If it's ever about you making profit, if you're trading and you're thinking it's about you, so if you ever come up to a trade and you're kind of umming and ahhing as to whether you should or shouldn't take it, obviously it's about you. What it's got to be about is the actual model that you created, and you're there just to take it. So I keep this sort of thinking going on in my head as too. I'm still getting to this spot where at the end of the day, it's just there's no decision as to whether I do or don't take it. The model says yes or no, and just take the trades, and that's when you've got a really well-defined system. But anyway, so what I'm using is a 3-strategy approach. So I've got here a 3-strategy approach, and within that there's 6 trades or 6 blueprints. Okay, so on the 5-minute chart, I'm looking for these 3 specific strategies. Okay, so you can see here a continuing trend strategy, a breakout of high or low strategy, or a pivot strategy. Okay, now within each of those strategies, you can see that there's 2 trades or 2 blueprints. Okay, but just taking a step back, these 3 strategies to start off with. The reason 3, I want to give myself a little bit of a diversification, a little bit of opportunity that whether I've got fast markets, slow markets, just a little bit of opportunity, I suppose. So I'm not isolated to one specific area. I like to keep busy. I don't want something that's producing 5 or 6 trades a day, but I do want something where I'm going to get an opportunity. Probably most days 1 to 3 opportunities a day. I'll find most days there's probably 3 or 4 setups lurking, maybe even 5, but actually setups that will come, because quite often there's setups coming but they don't actually initiate, but actual setups that come. If it's slow day 1, rarely there's a day where I don't get any, but slow day 1, if it's a good day 2, maybe even 4 at the most. But to start off, so I've got this top-down approach. So what I've done is created these key areas. Now I've got 3 specific areas I'm looking for. Now what I want is a continuing trend. Okay, now continuing trend, what I'm going to do is base this area on specific key levels. That's all I'm looking at. The only thing I want is key levels, and I look at nothing else. Okay, and within this continuing trend strategy, I'm looking at a continuation trade, which is basically like a 5-minute buy, 5-minute sell, and then what I also call my momentum trade, which is a bit like a 5-minute fade. So basically, and the blueprint of that is, let's take for example a fade. So I need to come up, I'm looking for a key level, so let's use this. It's got to be a key level that goes across the entire day. I'm looking for the trade to push up, go at least 2 points past it, and then come back, bounce off, and get a continuation trend. So that's momentum. So it looks like a 5-minute fade, but it's not necessarily the specific 5-minute fade. As far as the 5-minute continuation, over here might have been an example that was coming but never quite came. So obviously the trend's on the upside. I want to get underneath this level, come back up, push through it, then just pop back to that level and buy and get a continuation of that level. But what I'm saying is you don't need to understand specifically what I'm looking for, but I'll explain a little bit more on this blog. But what I've got is an exact blueprint, and I do use the 1-minute chart to flip over and look for it and watch that it goes a certain number of ticks. So I've got everything to explain right down to the T or to the tick, and I know exactly what I'm looking for as far as that area is concerned. So that's the continuing trend, and like I said, I'm only looking for key levels. I don't use other markets or anything in that area. I'm just looking for key levels. The next one is the breaking high or low strategy. So this one here, again, it's not necessarily based on key levels across the entire day. What it's based on is other markets and pressure, predictive pressure. So there's actually an example around here is what I do is identify a price action. So here's one of these short lines that I identified on the 1-minute chart. So what I'll go to the 1-minute chart. So for example, I'll flip here and I'll identify in this area here. So I believe that this potentially could be going higher. I've identified right through here that the market's dealing around this price a bit. It's getting underneath it, getting above it. Also the predictive average starts to cross up. I want it to push through a certain number of ticks, then come back and collect me off my level, and then buy, and then see it push up. So again, it's a specific blueprint that I'm looking for, and also what it's using is other markets and predictive. So again, it's just a quick explanation of it. Don't need to understand exactly what I'm looking for, but what you got to understand is, first of all, there's a strategy behind. For me, this area, the strategy is using other markets and the predictive average, and then there's a blueprint of what I'm looking for a directional breakout, which is basically the first breakout of the day, or a high or low breakout of a trend. Then finally there's a pivot strategy. So again, this one has nothing to do with key levels like previous level has. This one has to do with pivots and other markets. Okay, so identify pivots in the market. So one that was again on the 1 minute chart. Here's an area here we've popped up. We're going to go lower. All of a sudden, for me, this became a strong pivot area in the market, and what I want to see is other markets pushing through it. Then I'll take some sort of trade around here. So this is what I call a pivot area. So again, it's not based on what other strategies are based on. This is its own strategy. I'm looking for certain things, and then to get the reversal trade and the directional trade, which is these two trades, I'm looking for a certain blueprint. So I've just quickly gone through that. Obviously, the detail is not there as to exactly what I'm looking for. That's not what this video is about. It's about giving you an insight. I'll give a little bit more detail as I go through each blog, but at least if I'm talking about a certain trade, you'll notice that I have arrows pointing to it saying this was a such and such trade. Then you'll have a bit of an idea of what I'm talking about. On the 1 minute chart, like I said, I apply the specific blueprints of the 6 trades over the predetermined areas from the 3 trading strategic approaches, meaning that each of these strategies are based on a certain thing. These levels or these areas are predetermined. As soon as these areas are predetermined, I know this is a trading area. Okay, so this is all determined on the 5 minute chart. All my lines are on the 5 minute chart. The area is determined through the strategy. Okay, then what I got to do is go to the 1 minute chart, and within that area apply my map or my blueprint over the top of that market. And if the entry comes, I take the trade. And what it does is it makes it, and it's something I'm working on to make it as easy as possible for myself. I go, well, at the end of the day, it's easy for me to say, yes, I do take the trade, or no, I don't take the trade. It's not up to me, it's up to the model. The model gets tick, 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 yes, I take the trade. And that's what trading, and that's what I kind of want to bring to you guys is, maybe something, and you see how specific and how much down to the detail this all starts to become. So that's it guys, that's the intro, and look forward to looking at the blogs over the next couple of weeks.